Hey, the Lord is opening up a new sound. It's the sonic sound of heaven. I don't know if you are aware that you can hear to see what is happening in heaven. Yep, you can. The Lord has been so good to me to teach me quite a bit about the sound of heaven. I call it the study of symphonology, the full, complete sound that is released not only through his voice, but through the way that his sound resonates from heaven down to earth. And you can see it as much as you can hear it, and you can hear it to see it. It's really quite fascinating how the Lord talks and how he shares with us. So I just wanted to share today a little bit about what God has been downloading just recently, really over the past year, as we've put together symphonology and what it's all about. It's something that I teach in my Isaiah program, and I love to talk about how to hear and see and perceive heaven and what is happening for us so that we can be totally dialed in, tuned in, and have our senses fully aware. So recently the Lord started talking to me about sonic sound, and when you think of sonic, you think of like fighter jets, really fast air jets that are piercing through the sound, going so fast that it's breaking the sound barrier, and they push through and the sound is broken open, and we hear that sonic boom. And so when I'm thinking about sonic sound, I started doing a little bit of research about it. As you do, you follow the Lord into places of wonder. And so let me just unpack it a little bit for you. So I've got my screen behind me with some notes just so that I can just explain it well. So whale noise is something that we know as sonic sound. So when a whale is making its beautiful sound, it's not so much that it's a tune, it's not so much that it's a melody, but it's a vibration. And the sound creates that kind of music that you hear from a whale. So in the natural, if we were to take, for example, like a paperclip and put it on a speaker, and we watch as the music is being played out of it, you see the paperclip jump all around, that is the visual manifestation of a sonic vibration. So we see it. We see the paperclip jumping up and down, and we recognize the sonic vibration. So this is what sonic sound is about. It's more that it's not so much a song, a melody, things that you know, but it's seeing and feeling the vibration of what is happening in heaven. And so when the Lord is releasing his sound, as he does, he blesses us in many, many different ways to understand, hear, and take on board the sound that he is releasing. So let's consider that sonic sound. It has this ability to push past limits and barriers. And so at the moment we're hearing so much noise, aren't we? We're hearing all about the fear and all the overwhelm and all the crazy stuff that's happening across the world, but yet God is calm, and he is fully aware of what's going on. He's not taken by surprise. He's not running around like a chook with his head cut off. He is fully okay with everything that's going on, because he knows, in terms of the sound, he knows what he's speaking, and he knows what the truth is, and he is looking for those of us who want to listen, hear, perceive, and know what he is doing. So that's why we hear so many scriptures where he says, where Jesus is speaking, do you have ears to hear and eyes to see? So we can tune our spiritual ears and spiritual eyes to hear and see and perceive what is happening. So to add to that too, you can see by hearing, and this is a fun thing to have happen. So recently, sitting in my beautiful community on a Sunday for our church time, we're in Zoom meetings, and we have the voice of the most wonderful worshiper, and she releases such a unique sound. And when I hear her sing and she strums that first chord on her guitar, something shifts dramatically in my spirit. I feel a real fine tuning happening. I also notice that my gifts and my callings that I have, that I work on with the Lord and enjoy using my gifts, get sharpened and honed, and there's a real clarity that happens. And so something that I've noticed recently, as I've become more aware of the Lord talking to me about this topic, is that when I hear the sound that my spirit ignites to, that the very thing that I do, my gifts and my callings and the way that I operate in the spirit, is fine-tuned, it is clearer, and it lights up the unseen realm. So I actually see more than what I would have ever seen had I not heard that sound. So it's fascinating. So here's the question I had. What if we could see with our ears? It is actually possible to unlock your vision through what you hear. And so that was the experience that I had that Sunday. And so since then, the Lord's been expanding on this topic with me. So heaven's sound actually bounces. It bounces off unseen realities, and our spirit can catch the feedback and know and see. And so that's what I was experiencing that Sunday morning. As this beautiful friend led worship, in my spirit, I was feeling and perceiving and hearing the sound that she was releasing. And that was knocking on unseen realities that all of a sudden I was now able to see. My perception had been heightened because of what I was hearing. So if you think of in the natural, like echolocation that you see in dolphins and bats, where they send out sounds and they look for it to reverberate back so they can work out where there's structures and things in place so that they don't run into them, same sort of thing. So when you hear the sound, you see new realities, you see the reverberation come back, and you get to see things in the spirit that weren't there before. So the new sound is being released, whether you know it or not, it is being released, and we get to hear it and see it and be a part of it. And so what is really fascinating is that sound, especially in vibration, has the ability to propagate. So that means that there's plenty of new things being birthed and created, and fruitfulness coming through this new sound. But for us, we get to be intentional to tune in and hear it. So I want to encourage you, if this is something, if you're listening and going, what is she on about, and I have to know more about it, I would encourage you to come and join me in one of my programs, or just jump in onto all my Facebook groups and things that I'm doing, because there is plenty to learn right now. The Lord is not quiet in any way, and if you're having trouble hearing him because it's too noisy, let me show you how to hear him in the noise and move beyond that. So here's a scripture just as a reference example that might be helpful. So if you think about 1 Kings 18 verses 41 through to 45, it talks about the sound of rain. Elijah's talking and he can hear the sound of abundant rain, and he sends his servant to go look to see for the cloud. It's 7 times they go looking, or the servant goes looking, but Elijah is so certain he's heard the sound, so he knows abundant rain is coming. This is what I'm talking about, where you're going to hear the sound and you know that you know that you know exactly what the Lord is doing, and there is no shadow of a doubt. There is no cause to think otherwise, but God is actually doing the very thing that you can hear, and you then see the physical manifestation and reality of that. So I invite you to come find out some more. I could keep talking about this for a long time, but I won't just today. I'll drop some links under the video later, and feel free to come and check out what I'm doing and what God is revealing. It is stacks of fun, because the sound of heaven is being released in a greater way, and it's time for us to tune up our senses, get our hearing and our sight working full capacity, because there's so much fun stuff to be doing with the Lord right now. All right, bless you guys. See ya.